Nobody's ready for what could happen with the Seahawks quarterback before training camp, and I'm talking about a trade, a cut, and a plot twist nobody saw coming. Ethan Carter here, and today we're diving deep. There are hot rumors involving Will Levis and a potential Drew Lock exit, Charles Cross getting praised as a rare gem on a shaky offensive line, Eric Kendricks possibly becoming the new general of the defense, and to top it all off, a silent bombshell in Emmen contract that could change the NFL's rules. The question is, will Seattle lead or falter? What's up, 12s? Everything good? Welcome to another video on your news and analysis channel, the Seahawks Insider Report. I'm here this Tuesday with a truckload of breaking news, hot takes, and everything about the team that makes Lumen Field shake, our Seattle Seahawks. But before anything else, seriously, subscribe to the channel and strengthen the Blue and Green Nation. Drew Lock could be days away from saying goodbye to Seattle, and not by his own choice. A rumor that seemed absurd a few months ago has gained explosive momentum. The Seahawks are reportedly considering a trade for quarterback Will Levis, the former Titans starter, in a bold move that could redefine the entire position's hierarchy in Seattle even before training camp begins. The source? Jordan O'Malley, an analyst for AOL Sports, who confirmed Seattle could send a mid-round draft pick and bring Levis in to compete for a spot as early as July. But why on earth would this make sense now? Simple. The Titans have already moved on with Cam Ward, chosen as the new face of the franchise, and Levis, who showed flashes in 2024 but fell short of expectations, has become a replacement piece. And Seattle, despite having Darnold, Lock, and rookie Milroe on the roster, still doesn't have a reliable piece for the future. And here's the part that intrigues me most. If Levis arrives, Drew Lock practically loses his spot. Lock's contract isn't guaranteed, and the team could free up to $4 million in cap space if they opt to cut number 2 before the season starts. The situation is tense because the coaching staff, led by Mike McDonald, clearly trusts Darnold as a stopgap, a temporary starter, but needs a viable development option. Milroe is still a raw project, with visible difficulties in reading defenses and accuracy. Levis, even if inconsistent, has a strong arm, some mobility, and experience as a starter. Plus, he comes with low morale, which means an affordable price and less pressure. But there's more. A possible arrival of Levis could also signal that Seattle's front office is thinking beyond 2025. Instead of betting everything on a future draft, they could develop Levis for a year under Clint Kubiak, preparing a transition plan. And I ask you, do you trust Lock as QB2 today? Because I don't. And this potential trade wouldn't be an attack on Lock. It would be an attempt to correct the mistake of not having seriously invested in depth at the position since Russell Wilson's departure. And if Levis works out, it's a complete masterstroke. Now the big question, will the front office have the guts to pull that trigger before training camp, or will they wait for some disaster to happen to act? Because if Drew Lock leaves and Will Levis arrives, the locker room will feel it, and there's no way to hide that for long. Amidst the chaos on the Seahawks offensive line, there's one name that refuses to go down with the ship, and he's starting to get recognized for it, Charles Cross. And here's the point that breaks the common narrative we hear so much about. No, Seattle's offensive line isn't completely flawed. It has a pillar. And his name is Charles Cross, our LT since 2022, who has just been included in NFL.com's list of the league's best players under 25. And it wasn't due to hype, it was due to merit. Nick Shook, one of the most respected NFL analysts, pointed out that Cross had the 9th best grade among all tackles in the league in 2024, according to Pro Football Focus. More than that, he had the best performance of his career in almost all technical aspects: pass block, run block, snap efficiency. But here's the part nobody says explicitly. Charles Cross is shining in the middle of a mess. In 2024, the Seahawks offensive line was one of the team's weakest points. Injuries, instability, and constant changes left the unit in ruins, and yet Cross held his own protecting the blind side. He was the shield for Darnold, Lock, and Milroe, and he did it without complaining, without the spotlight, without marketing. And I ask you, Do you remember the last time we had such a reliable LT since Walter Jones? Exactly. You can't compare directly, but the feeling is similar. He's that guy you look at and know, nobody's getting past him there. Now Cross's presence as an anchor can free up coaches to focus on reinforcing the right side, where the failures were glaring, especially in games against dominant pass rushers. With Cross established, Clint Kubiak can design plays that exploit that side with more consistency, and that completely changes the quarterback's time in the pocket. Another thing, Cross's consistency can help the run game evolve. If you want to re-establish physicality in the offense, you need a dominant LT, and we have that. But hold on to this challenge. Will the front office value this talent as they should in roster planning, or will they waste another year of the guy without giving him support on the other side? Cross reports to training camp on July 22nd, and I want to see if they'll put people next to him who can handle the pressure. Because if the front office doesn't protect our best OL, the fans will demand answers, and loudly. If there's one position screaming for leadership in Seattle, it's linebacker. And now a name pops up that could change the course of this defense: Eric Kendricks. The mere mention of this veteran on the Seahawks' radar already shakes things up, because we're not talking about just any player. We're talking about a linebacker with above-average tactical awareness, a history of immediate impact, and most importantly, the kind of locker room presence this young roster needs. With Mike McDonald entering his second year of the project and Aiden Durd trying to implement an aggressive and versatile defense, Kendricks' arrival would be a perfect fit. The current core has promising names like Ernest Jones IV, Tyrese Knight, and Derek Jackson, but it lacks that guy who holds the microphone in the huddle, who sees the play before it happens, and who elevates the collective standard just by his demeanor. And that guy today could be number 54. Released due to salary reasons, Kendricks is still negotiating a possible renewal with his current team. But talks are slow, and that opens the perfect window for a strategic move by Seattle. And it's not just a matter of name or resume. Tactically, Kendricks is an asset for Mike McDonald. His ability to alternate between pass coverage and run defense is rare. He anticipates gaps, recognizes formations, and reacts quickly, everything Durden needs to implement bolder blitzes and hybrid schemes. And do you want to know the most decisive detail? With Kendricks in the middle, you can use Knight in specific rotation situations without compromising the defensive structure. In other words, you provide experience without hindering the development of the young players. Furthermore, with the season knocking at the door and camp about to start, Seattle needs tactical security on critical downs. Those 3rd and 5s that decide the outcome of a game. Today, we don't have a reliable name to lead there. Kendricks has done that for years. And the cap issue? Of course, every negotiation requires balance. But with the current flexibility and the absence of absurd contracts in the defensive sector, it can happen if there's a will. Now, the veteran fan has seen this movie before. Experienced names available, clear fit, and the front office hesitates, waits, calculates too much, and misses the chance. The question remains simple. Will Geraldo Schneider act like an executive of a team that wants to win now? Or will he repeat the bureaucratic script that has already cost us decisive pieces in the past? Because if Kendricks shows up in Seattle, this defense can change levels overnight. There's a ticking time bomb hidden in the middle of this offseason, and it goes by the name of Nick Emmen. The Seahawks rookie safety still hasn't signed his contract, and that's not just a contractual problem. It's a dilemma that could blow up in the face of the entire NFL. To understand the magnitude of the trouble, Emmen was chosen at pick 35 in the draft, the 3rd player in the 2nd round. So far, so good. But the 2 players chosen before him, Carson Schwessinger and Jaden Higgins, have already signed 100% guaranteed contracts. An absurd novelty for this point in the draft. And now everyone in the round wants the same treatment. And the first to hold that front line is precisely Emmen, who has become, according to Kyle Krabs, one of the most important figures in football right now. The most explosive detail is that Emmen is represented by David Mulugeta and Athletes First, an agency known for not backing down in negotiations. They want the 100% guaranteed contract, and the Seahawks, apparently, are still resisting. But for how long? Training camp starts in days, and the pressure will mount. And this isn't just about money, it's about precedent. If Seattle gives in, the entire rest of the second round will lean on that decision to demand the same. If they don't give in, there could be a holdout, and we know the impact of that on a rookie, especially in a sector as sensitive as the secondary. Emmen is a key piece in the defense's overhaul. He's coming in to be a starter or, at the very least, play a lot of snaps in his first year. His combination of physicality, tackling aggressiveness, and instinct to cover the deep field caught attention since his South Carolina days. The coaching staff is betting on him to strengthen what's left of the Legion of Boom's soul, and not having this guy at the start of camp would be a brutal delay. And more. The impasse puts direct pressure on Mike McDonald and defensive coordinator Aiden Durde, who need to implement new concepts with new pieces. You can't lose valuable reps from a promising rookie because the front office wants to save on a guarantee clause. And here's my challenge. Do you think Seattle, with its history of building strong defensive identities, can afford to stall over pennies with a game-changing safety? Or are we about to see the front office repeat a classic mistake, letting pride get in the way of evolution? If Emmen doesn't sign, the noise will come from all sides, and it won't be the kind of noise the 12th man likes to make. If you still think the Seahawks offseason is calm, it's because you haven't understood the level of tension hanging over this roster. We have a potential goodbye to Drew Lock, a silent star on the offensive line, a golden opportunity to bring leadership to the defense with Kendricks, and a contract battle that could explode nationwide with Emmen. All of this before the first snap of training camp. Seattle is at a crossroads, courage or complacency. And you, a true fan, do you believe this team has the guts to react? Comment below. And if this analysis resonated with you, show some love with a like. This is the real 12th man noise.